Okay, so have you ever thought about why your back aches after you've been standing all day?
Mm.
Or choked on water even though you've been swallowing your whole life, right? It's
Yeah.
like our bodies, they're amazing, but also kind of held together with duct tape.
That's a pretty good analogy,
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah. The source material we're looking at for this deep dive is called Evolution's Duct Tape Solutions.
Catchy title.
And it really digs into this idea that our bodies are just full of good enough fixes, not, perfect
So it's
designs.
not about being perfect, it's just about surviving.
Exactly.
Just long enough to, pass on those genes.
Evolution doesn't care about perfection, right?
Right.
Just survival of the fittest. So if a trait helps you survive long enough to reproduce, it gets passed on, even if it's a little clunky.
Clunky is a good word.
Like, think about lower back pain.
Ugh, don't remind me. Why is that so common, though?
Well, picture our ancestors walking around on all fours. Their spines were perfect for that.
Makes sense.
Then we stood up.
Right.
Great for tools, terrible for our spines.
So we took a spine that was designed for horizontal movement
Yeah.
and just flipped it 90 degrees.
Haha, pretty much, yeah. No redesign, just make it work.
And our spines are trying. Bless their hearts.
They're doing their best, but they weren't built for this upright life.
That's why we all have back pain.
It's a classic evolutionary trade-off.
So, okay, that's one duct tape solution. What else did evolution not quite finish?
How about this? We use the same tube for breathing and eating.
Wait, seriously? Most animals have separate tubes, right?
Yep, dedicated airway, separate food chute.
Makes sense, right?
We humans, one tube splits into the trachea for air and the esophagus for food.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It is a design flaw just waiting to happen.
If you had a highway and cars and pedestrians were sharing the same lane, what could go wrong?
Right. But, and here's the kicker, this flawed design is what lets us speak.
Hold on. So we risk choking every time we swallow just so we can talk.
That complex communication we humans have, huge evolutionary advantage.
It's a big trade-off.
From evolution's perspective, worth it. Kept us alive and thriving, right? Being able to communicate clearly, that gave us a massive edge.
Yeah, you've got a point. Speaking of things that feel barely held together, knees.
Yes, the wobbly wonders. Knees were originally designed for climbing.
Wait, seriously? Climbing?
Yep.
So then we started walking upright, and evolution was just figure it out.
Repurpose those climbing knees. Good enough.
Not quite back to the drawing board, huh?
But walking and running put a ton of stress on a joint that wasn't really meant for it.
And the ACL, that tiny little ligament that everyone seems to tear.
The poor ACL bears so much weight, and if it goes, healing is a nightmare.
It's true.
But again, evolution's perspective. You don't need to run a marathon to survive long enough to,
Reproduce.
Exactly.
So a finicky ACL is not high on evolution's priority list.
Good enough approach applies to so much of our bodies. It's pretty fascinating when you start to really look for it.
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
Our bodies are way less designed than I thought.
Oh, this is just the beginning. Buckle up, because next we're diving into the fact that our eyes are literally wired backwards.
Backwards eyes. Now I'm really curious. You're going to have to explain that one. What kind of evolutionary shenanigans are we talking about here?
All right, so backwards eyes. It's one of those things you learn in high school biology and then completely forget about.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But it is pretty weird when you think about it.
Really bizarre quirk of evolution.
Okay, so remind me, what's actually wrong with our eye design? Because, I can see.
Right. Seems to work, right?
Yeah.
The issue is with the retina, the layer at the back of the eye that senses light.
Okay, yeah.
In humans, the cells that actually detect the light, they're tucked in behind a bunch of nerves and blood vessels.
Wait, so the light has to go through all that wiring before it hits the cells that actually see?
Yeah, it's like imagine if you built a camera and the wires were in front of the lens.
That's so inefficient.
It's baffling.
Why would evolution do that? You think clear vision would be, pretty important evolutionarily speaking?
Well, remember, evolution's not an engineer, right?
Right.
Doesn't have a blueprint. It's more like a tinkerer, just making do with what's already there.
So just working with what it has.
And that's how our retina developed. And for a long time, it worked well enough.
But some animals got it right. Didn't you say something about the octopus?
Octopus, yeah.
Their eyes are amazing.
Fantastic example, yeah.
Yeah.
Their eyes evolved independently from ours.
Okay.
And their retinas are wired the right way around. Photoreceptors first, then the wiring's tucked in neatly behind.
So they're just looking at the world in HD all the time.
Basically, yeah, no blind spot. Just pure, efficient vision.
So we got stuck with this subpar design because our ancestors got there first. Evolution just never bothered to fix it.
It seems that way. And it's a good reminder that evolution isn't about, striving for some perfect ideal.
Yeah.
It's about good enough solutions.
To survive long enough to make babies.
Exactly.
Man, this is making me rethink everything I thought I knew about the human body.
And we're just getting started. Let's talk about the appendix. For years, it was the ultimate example of a useless, leftover body part.
Oh yeah, the appendix.
Yeah.
Everyone's just waiting for it to explode, like it's just doing nothing, right?
Well, it might not be completely useless. For a long time, yeah, scientists thought it was vestigial, just a leftover,
From our, caveman days?
Yeah, that no longer served a purpose.
But now they're like, maybe it's doing something.
Yeah, some research suggests it might actually play a role in maintaining a healthy gut microbiome.
Hold on, so it's not a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
It might be helping us out.
It could be like a little reservoir for good bacteria, helping repopulate the gut after, say, you get sick.
So it's like the little backup system?
Maybe. But it's still a potential risk. Appendicitis can be really serious.
Right, if it bursts, it's really bad.
Exactly. But it's fascinating to think that even the parts of our bodies that seem like total mistakes might have hidden functions we're just starting to understand.
It seems like with evolution, you can never say never. Something might seem useless, but then we learn it actually does something important. Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. Lower back pain, choking hazards, wobbly knees, backwards eyes, and explosive appendix.
It really makes you wonder, right? Like, every amazing ability we have seems to come with a trade-off.
So it's like a give and take.
Yeah, our immune system's powerful, but also gives us allergies sometimes. We have these incredible brains, but childbirth is much harder for us than for other primates.
It's all about balance. We're constantly balancing the good with the bad.
We're a walking, talking collection of compromises. But that's what makes us adaptable. We've evolved to survive in so many different environments, face all kinds of challenges.
So what are we supposed to do with all these imperfections then? Just curse evolution for all these quirks?
I don't think so. Instead of seeing our bodies as flawed, I think we can appreciate them as a testament to the ingenuity of nature. Every quirk, every imperfection is a result of millions of years of trial and error. And ultimately, it's gotten us this far.
I love that reframing. Not flawed, but like a product of an incredible journey. It makes you realize how resilient the human body really is.
Absolutely. And remember, if evolution started over, we wouldn't be us. We wouldn't have this unique combination of strengths and weaknesses that makes us human.
Okay, I'm feeling a little better about my creaky knees now. But there has to be more, right? What other duct tape solutions are out there?
Well, you know how some people can smell asparagus in their pee?
Wait, what?
Turns out that's a genetic quirk.
Asparagus pea.
And a perfect example of evolution saying, hey, close enough.
We are definitely going to need to unpack that one. All right, so we're back, and I am still thinking about this asparagus pea thing.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
It is.
But I have a feeling there's like a really interesting evolutionary story behind it.
There is. It's one of those weird little things that just highlights how evolution works in these mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Seems totally random.
Right.
But there's often a deeper reason.
Okay, I'm all ears. Lay it on me.
Okay, so asparagus and pea.
Yeah, what's the deal?
So some people, after they eat asparagus, notice a distinct aroma in their urine.
Right. Okay, I've heard about that, but not everyone can smell it. Right?
No, exactly. And it turns out there's a genetic variation.
Oh, interesting.
That determines whether or not you can smell this particular compound that's produced when your body breaks down asparagus.
So some people are just genetically predisposed to smelling asparagus pea, and other people have no idea.
Exactly.
It's like a superpower, or I guess more like a super smell.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's no real advantage.
Oh, really?
To being able to smell it, or disadvantage to not being able to smell it. It's just this random quirk that evolution has decided to keep around.
So it's like evolution is just like, meh, good enough.
Pretty much.
Doesn't affect survival or reproduction.
Right.
It just kind of hangs out.
Exactly.
That is so wild.
The asparagus pea phenomenon, as weird as it seems.
Yeah.
It reminds us that evolution isn't always about optimizing for perfection.
Right. It's not going for perfect.
It's about accumulating all these little changes over time.
Yeah.
Some beneficial, some neutral, some maybe even slightly detrimental.
Just throws it all in the pot and sees what happens.
Yeah, and that's how we end up with the wonderfully weird bodies we have today.
It's amazing when you think about it. Our bodies are like walking museums,
Yeah.
full of echoes of our evolutionary past.
I like that.
Like these little quirks, they tell a story
They do.
about where we came from and all the weird things that happened along the way.
Exactly, and it's not all bad either.
Right.
Our imperfections are also what make us adaptable.
Oh, that's true.
If everything was perfectly designed,
Yeah.
we might not be able to handle change as well.
So our duct tape solutions, they make us, like, resilient.
They do.
It's actually kind of a superpower, in a way.
You could say that.
It's like we've evolved to be flexible
Yeah.
to make the best of what we have.
Exactly, and that's a pretty amazing trait.
Especially in a world that's, like, always changing,
Yeah.
throwing new things at us.
That's true.
I'm looking at things in a whole new light. Now, I never thought I'd be, like, thanking evolution for my back pain and my potentially smelly pee.
It's all part of the journey.
It really is. It's humbling to realize that we're all part of this grand, messy experiment called life.
That's a good way to put it.
And our bodies are, a product of millions of years of trial and error adaptation.
Yeah.
And even, a little bit of duct tape.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Embrace those quirks.
Yeah.
Appreciate those imperfections.
It's what makes us human.
It's what makes us us.
Exactly.
So if you're interested in learning more about these weird evolutionary quirks,
Yeah.
be sure to check out the book we've been talking about, Evolution's Duct Tape Solutions.
It's a great read.
It is.
Very fascinating.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep marveling at the incredible journey that brought us to where we are today.